Alongside Kenny Frease, I'm Coop Ledford. We have a podcast on YouTube now. So shout out to all of our visual learners. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that's fine too. But if you want to see our faces, you can go to YouTube, Roll Blob Pod. Check us out there. Subscribe. It's the same page we do all our lives. So we've got our podcast on there. Kenny, 43 is not that big of a number. I mean, there's numbers in the thousands, the millions even.
Right.
I don't know how many numbers are bigger than 43, but I do know there's only 42 less than 43.
Yeah, I think that in the grand scheme of things, in an infinite universe, 43 is like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean there's there's more than 43 states. It's not that big. There's
Right.
more stars on the flag. 43 is not a big number. 100 would be a big number. 99's not.
99's a normal number. 100's a big number. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
I said it. I wanted to bring this up being our first YouTube podcast. I've been told I have a really good face for radio. So I'm stepping out of my comfort zone here. But yeah, I think I tweeted it out earlier. I said, good teams win, great teams score 100, And
right.
it's like they're number one in the country right now, but 99 points, come on.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed. Score 99 and not get to 100. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
It'd be like having 999,000. You know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, being a millionaire. Yeah.
Being $1 short.
Yeah, right. Or even being $1 over. It's like you can only spend $2 and you're not a millionaire anymore. That's rough.
Yeah, there's no point. It'd be like having, 1,000 Twitter followers and not 1,100, like Roblox does.
Like 1,118 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Firmly in the 1.1K.
Yeah, firmly, comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But a team that probably won't score 99 points, hopefully, is St. John's. Hopefully they don't do it against Xavier.
If they score 100 points in the Cintas, I think there's going to be a bigger problem on our hands. But it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, that was one of the first games. Well, no, it wasn't one of the first games because we saw it against Oakland and Delaware. But, coming into Big East play, watching that game, you kind of felt like Xavier quit at a certain point, and that was obviously disappointing to see. I think Xavier's come a long way in what they think, what the team's roles are, each player's role, how they're playing together as a team, all that stuff. I think they've come a long way since St. John's, but how they come back after that game, which I've been a part of some pretty bad losses in my life. I would venture to say that I've probably been a part of a 43-point loss somewhere along the line. How you come back from that as a team really shows, your toughness and your, wanting to keep playing the season. There's still so much of the season to go. And Paul Frischner tweeted out today, one game at a time. And that's kind of the mindset you have to go into this with, because Xavier's firmly in the running to still be in the tournament. Most people have them in that next four out. I don't know really where they are after the UConn game, but at the end of the day, number one team in the country, you're playing them at their place, Sunday noon game, which can always be a little weird. I think everybody on paper would say that UConn's a better team than Xavier. So watching them go into that environment and get beat like that, I don't think I expected them to lose by 43, but I don't think any of us were sitting here saying like, they have a legitimate chance to win the game. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They have a legitimate chance to keep the game close and have a chance to win. That's how I would have thought about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was expecting somewhere in the 10 points or less type of loss for Xavier's. Definitely was not anticipating 43 points, but obviously it's hard to say without being there. But what do you think the message was like from Sean Miller and the rest of the coaching staff after that type of game? Like, are you going into it mad at everything, or is it kind of, hey guys, let's put this past us and look forward? Because I mean, you can't pinpoint one individual problem when you lose by 43. It's a collection of things. It's like we said, they were doing good, we were doing bad.
Right. Yeah. And I think the message in the locker room after a game like that is, you're kind of walking on a razor's edge, because if you go too hard, it might be the type of thing that pushes a team, towards that, like, the season's almost over kind of mindset. If you don't push hard enough, they don't realize how bad of a loss that is. I mean, I think they all realize it, but having somebody laid out in front of them, the reality of the situation, I think that you have to kind of balance those two things. And I would assume that there was definitely some tough love from Coach Miller, in practice, in the locker room, probably on the bus ride home, in the hotel room, or what. I don't know if they stayed the night after the game or whatever, but I mean, it would be interesting to see what his mindset was, because I think that a lot of people could probably learn a lot of valuable life lessons from how he handled that game, because with how competitive he is, I mean, you just know that crushed him inside to lose like that. So just kind of how he navigates that, it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, 100%. From a player's standpoint, I mean, you're in the grind every day. I mean, how much does it affect you if you get blown out or you lose by 1? Is there really that big of a mental difference? Obviously, it could depend on how you played and everything, but
Right.
when you look at it from a whole, is your mindset really that much different after getting blown out versus a close loss?
So I think the difference would come down to your personal performance, right? Um, if they go out and lose by 1 point, and Quincy's got scored 27, or Trey scored 27, or Dez scored 20, whatever, whoever was the big scorer that night, I think you can look at that and be like, hey, at least, I did my part. We didn't get there in the end. Depends on the player's mindset. They may be thinking I should have done a little bit more. They may be thinking, I feel like I did everything I could, whatever it is. But when you lose by 40, I don't care if somebody on our team had 40 points. You're not looking at yourself thinking, well, at least I had a good game. So I think that's the big difference. I mean, obviously, as far as the record goes, it doesn't make a difference, but definitely for the fans, or not the fans, for the rankings and, big, the NCAA tournament, stuff like that, I think it obviously makes a big difference. But once again, they are the number one team in the country.
Right. Yeah, I do think at the end of the season, when you're comparing resumes, say it's between Xavier and someone else, which hopefully Xavier gets to that point, and hopefully it's a conversation that someone has to have at some point.
Right.
But when you're looking at the losses, it's not just going to be that they lost to number one UConn twice. Anyone would do that. But if it's between, a team that's been competitive in a lot of games versus a team that's lost by 43 points, I don't know. It's from a fan's perspective, it's kind of hard to see the tournament right now, and it's probably a recency bias saying that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, man,
It's funny. It's funny to hear you say that, because, right after the Oakland and the Delaware game, people are saying, no chance we're making the tournament. Nothing. And then they come out and they put together a good stretch of 4 or 5 games. They're playing better. And then all of a sudden people are like, okay, we could go to the tournament. And then one game comes and they lose by 43 points. I understand it's a big loss, but just the ultimate highs and ultimate lows for a fan is like, I mean, when you're in the locker room, those guys, I would hope that they're not feeling that way, because you kind of have to take the good and the bad and just roll with it. Things happen. They're all humans, so I would hope that they're not feeling that way, but it would be tough in the moment not to feel pretty low when you're getting beat. And I mean, I would rather do it in front of an away crowd than a home crowd, obviously, but
oh, yeah.
still, I mean, you're still playing in the Big East. UConn's got a crazy fan base. You're getting the brakes beat off of you, and you have to finish the game. You have to try and just keep playing and play hard. And that's a really tough thing to do when you know that there's no chance you can win the game. When you're down 30 with 8 minutes to go, you're not thinking like, oh, we could still come back. But you have to keep trying and keep showing the coaches and the fans and your teammates and yourself even that you're going to keep going. And that's a really hard thing to do. So, and it was kind of a positive thing at the end of the game. You saw Quincy. I know that they were kind of garbage points or whatever. But still, to see them at least trying making some shots at the end, still playing with some confidence, that kind of stuff. I think that it's a positive sign when you're looking at it from a fan's perspective. But yeah, I mean, going into this next game, you got to feel like there's a fire lit under them because they understand what can happen if they go out and lay an egg. And that, to be honest with you, there's probably 4 or 5 teams in the Big East that could do that to you if you're not ready to play.
Oh, 100%. I even think on the flip side, I think Xavier could go out and destroy somebody if they came unprepared. But
Right.
I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, and I know you've kind of engaged with some of those tweets too about the confidence in Sean Miller. I think I can speak for 99.99% of the fan base that there's no one else that we'd rather have as the head coach than Sean Miller.
Yeah.
But just from your relationship with him, what do you think it is about him right now that's like, yeah, obviously this team isn't what we're used to as Xavier fans. It's probably not what he's used to coaching. But what is it maybe about Sean Miller that's like, yeah, he's definitely going to push these guys to be their best, whether we make the tournament or not? And then beyond that, what gives you so much confidence in Sean?
Oh, I mean, just his knowledge of the game and his ability to manage and kind of weave his way through different personalities and knowing who his players are. Also finding ways to keep them motivated when things might seem bleak, like they do right now. But even when things are going well, kind of keeping them level headed and making sure that they understand that there's more basketball to play, that the job's not done, keep playing, do what we do, that kind of thing. So, I mean, but I wanted to clarify one thing. I had put a tweet out on Twitter just about I understood why the guy asked the question, and I think some of the fans that responded to me were thinking that I was saying, I understand why you don't think Coach Miller should be the coach. And that's not what I was saying. What I was saying was, I understand from an outsider's perspective, when you're looking at this team and you don't know maybe you don't know all the problems that they had with injuries and all the new guys that are playing and things like that. I understand why those people might be thinking like maybe the Xavier fans are getting angry at Sean Miller, but I don't think that I don't know of any players. I don't know of any fans that I've met personally that have any doubt in Coach Miller in the future with him at Xavier.
Yeah, I think anyone who's tweeting that is a Dayton fan with a burner account or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I can think of. But can we just talk about Sean Miller for a second? Is there anyone who's more professional with what they're doing than Sean Miller? Because when we went down there to watch you do the Sean Miller podcast with Adam and Paul and obviously Sean, he's in that media analyst, like podcast mode. And you can tell he is a professional with that.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously has a career in media after coaching, if that's what he wants to do. And then I don't know how long it was, 20 minutes later, he's in full head coach mode,
Right.
going nuts at practice, giving it his all. I mean, that guy is like, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how you can just switch that quickly.
Yeah. To go from, it's kind of the same thing that, and we talked about it a little bit on the podcast, how on the Sean Miller podcast, how when you're being recruited by a coach, it's like a real buddy relationship, and like everything's, all flowers and rainbows, and like, please come here, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to the school and it's like, they're still the same person. The guy that you fell in love with, the guy that you wanted to play for, all that, they're still the same person. But then you get there and you're like, okay, now it's time to do the job. You actually have to come perform and live up to what they think you can be. And, it's kind of the same thing when I look at that, because he's dealing with me, an ex-player who, I didn't see him for a decade. And then I came back and I've gotten to, converse with him a little bit outside of basketball, just talking to him and, just kind of catching up a little bit. And then to do the podcast. And obviously, like you said, he's so good at that. And so you kind of feel some pressure to make sure that you don't mess up the podcast, because you want it to be a good episode. And Paul and Adam, they show faith in their guests that come on. So, You want to make sure you don't mess that up. And then you're right. You go watch him in practice, and all of a sudden it's just like he's a different person. You know, he's sitting up in the stands again,
Yeah.
just like, you know, and it's like it was really cool to see. And watching practice was awesome because it's all the same stuff. I remember all the drill. I mean, there's obviously some small differences. They don't run the same offenses. They don't run the same defenses. There's some different stuff, but like the just bread and butter drills that they run, the fast break drills, the passing drills, all the different stuff. You know, I can put myself back into that mindset. And I was sitting there talking to AB during the practice. I was like, man, we're 3 minutes in. I would be laying down on the ground right now. Those dudes run in practice.
Oh man, the cardio they have to go through in the off season is unreal. I mean, they're nonstop for I don't know how long it was. I lost track of time, but
it was almost 3 hours because we got down there about 1:00 and we were sitting there with AB and Paul for like 20 minutes. They came rolling out at like 1:30, and I didn't get on the road until almost 3:30 or 3:45. So it was, or no, I'm sorry, 4:30, 4:45. It was a long practice.
yeah, I know I was absolutely starving, and I was just thinking about it. I saw Adam, you know, he packed his lunch or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, okay, next time I know what to do."
Well,
But
he's a pro.
oh, he is a pro. I think the only, well, obviously the basketball team takes the most shots on the court at Cintas, but Adam and Paul are right there with them, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would say on a game day that they probably get up more shots than anybody.
no, yeah, insane. I mean, nonstop, 3 hours before tip off, they're out there just
Out there
until they
getting shots up, and then the managers come out and they play They play like 4 games of knockout, and I mean they're getting shots up.
oh yeah, I mean, I can tell by their jumpers that, you know, they've been practicing.
Right, right. Paul, they both have like, you know, they're streaky shooters, but they're, you know, you watch them shoot and they're shooting like, you know, if they shoot 10 shots 15 times, they might make 8 out of 10 one time, and then they're going to make 3 out of 10 another time. But you know, they have the ability to get on a little run.
Oh yeah, microwave at any point.
Right.
How was it for you just getting back to Centos and, you know, just stepping on the court again? Obviously, you had me and Cap there to, you know, humble you
Yeah.
defensively or whatever, but
Right.
how cool was that just to be back on that court?
It was awesome. I mean, just the feeling of the court, everything is, you know, because I played there for 4 years, obviously, and like I know it's not the same. I don't know. It's not the same court. It's, you know, it's all a little bit different, but just like the feeling, and like when you dribble a ball in there, it sounds different than most places, just because of, you know, the acoustics and everything, and that kind of stuff all just comes back to you when you're in the gym alone, or you got 3 or 4 guys in the gym that are working out, and just like the way the gym sounds and the lights being on you, and then all of a sudden you see the fans start coming in and the players are warming up, the fire's going out of the thing for the player announcements, all that stuff. Oh man, dude, it brings all that back. And you know, I get so hyped up during games, especially when I'm at the Cintas Center, because that level of competitiveness and the love for the school and the coach and just the passion that the guys play with, and you know, just all of the history, everything, it doesn't leave you. It's going to be with me forever. I'm going to be a Xavier fan until the day that I die, and I'm never not going to be passionate about it. So being able to be in the stands at the game, on the floor, watching these guys play, and then have Claude or Swain, I'm sorry, make such a ridiculous play at the end of that Georgetown game to basically seal the game. I know they had to play one more defensive possession, but like we were talking about it looked like we were like looking right at him, the way that our seats were. It was like the perfect seat for it. He was in the opposite corner, gave that little pump fake, 2 dribbles, dunked on that guy. And it's just like, yo, this dude's a freshman. And I feel like I was looking at him in his eyes when he dunked the ball.
I like to think that we both were, you know, I think I was looking in one eye and you were looking in the other, but
Right.
I like to think that, you know, he noticed our presence and was like, all right, I'm going to put on a show right here.
Right.
It's for the Roll Blob boys. Have to.
You have to.
Deliver.
The Roll Bob effect. He tweeted it out.
I mean, we're 1-0 whenever Roll Blob comes to Centos, so I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's got to be, there might be something behind that. I don't know. The streams, we're still a little 50-50 on the streams, but when we're in person, it's a pretty powerful effect.
Yeah, we have that effect on people.
Right.
Absolutely. Could have been Liz. Shout out Liz.
Yeah.
Um, we'll get into a little bit more actual basketball talk here in a second. I just want you to tell the story, if you don't mind, of how you acquired a new pair of sweatpants.
So it was, I don't know if it was Quincy hitting a three. I really don't know when it happened because there was a lot going on at the end of the game. But I jumped up and I like squatted down and I'm just like, ah. And 5-10 minutes goes by and I like feel a little more drafty than normal.
Right.
And I look down and I realize that my pants are ripped, like from like the middle of my pants all the way to almost like halfway down my thigh. And I look over at Cap and I was like, dude, I just ripped my pants. So it's just one of those things where you just kind of got to just lean into it. I was talking to everybody about it and it was a funny moment. Then after the game, I look at Dante and I was like, man, I don't know what happened back there. I ripped my pants and I need some sweatpants. So he takes me into the room, got myself a couple pairs of sweatpants, a polo. I got a pair of Running Man shorts. The rest is history. And then I threw my pants away in the Cintas Center.
What a story, man. Yeah, man, just watching post game when we're walking into the locker room and stuff like that, it was just a noticeable, I don't know, 8 to 10 inch tear right on the thigh.
Yeah.
Like, man, this is hilarious.
Hey, man, when you're in that mode of celebrating and the game's tight, you don't think about stuff like that. It's a pair of jeans. Who cares?
I know, and I know they were probably like Balmain or Amiri jeans. I know they weren't cheap,
Yeah.
so I get it. I've been in that situation playing Wii golf at Ian Featherstone's house around probably around Thanksgiving time. And same thing, same exact thing. I thought I was going to be brave and hit it over the water as hard as I could. Ended up costing me and Cap the game or whatever, but went in a squat after I fell into the water, ripped my pants, just destroyed them. So I get it, man. The excitement gets to you.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, you just you take that, just roll with the punches, man.
Exactly. I'm an American Eagle guy, though. I don't have the Balmains like you do.
Yeah, no, I wear American tall jeans, baby.
American tall jeans, right. Yeah, even when you did that squat, you were probably still like 5'10".
I was still pretty, yeah. I've been told that I have a tall voice, too.
And a face for radio?
A face for radio, a tall voice, pretty cheap jeans, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, full package, I get it. But Kenny, you've kind of brought up a interesting thought here. So Xavier right now, after the UConn loss, is sitting at 10-10. They have a game tonight against St. John's, so we'll see how that goes. But in total, they have 11 games left. If Xavier were to win all 11 games and then go on to win the Big East tournament, so they'd finish the regular season at 21-10, win the Big East tournament, how would they look seed-wise? Obviously, they'd make the NCAA tournament winning the Big East.
Right.
But it's been a very mediocre season so far. Sometimes it does seem that hot teams are getting into the tournament over teams that have just kind of been plateau throughout the season.
Right.
So hypothetically speaking, hopefully it turns into reality. Hopefully we manifest this.
Yeah, why not?
I
mean, that's what I think it was Johnny Blade. He said it's pretty for sure that they're going to win the rest of their games. So if
the script's written,
right,
then we're the authors.
If it's written, yeah. No, so I guess my point in bringing this up on Twitter, because I thought I think it's a really interesting, just like thought experiment as a fan, to sit down and think like, okay, look how everything feels right now, right? Like you're looking at this and you're saying, we're probably not going to make the tournament. And if something was to happen that we play the next 15 games and we win a bunch of close games, kind of toss up type games, and does it really change who the team is? Like at this point, a lot of people think they're not a tournament team. If they go win those games, obviously they have the resume for it, but it's still the same guys, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like my thought process in it is, And then the second part of this is if they were to win the last 15 games, and obviously you have the Big East tournament there, but if you put that in the first half of the season and they start the season off 15-0, not playing Purdue and Houston and all those guys, they would, if they played them in the second half of the season, they win their first 15 games and then they have their start of this season at the end of the year. I don't think they make the tournament, right?
I agree. Right.
So it's weird how with the same group of guys, just like changing around where some of those wins come from and when they come in the season, but I really think if they were to go and win the Big East tournament, win out from here, I think they're like a 3 or 4 seed in the tournament, which is insane to think about. And like, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Right. I mean, most definitely not, but it's just like, it's a 50-50 chance. Right. But no, it's weird to think about that from a fan's perspective, because what I was talking about, these highs and lows of like, we're going to make the tournament, we're not going to make the tournament, we're going to make the tournament, we're not going to make the tournament. It's just, it kind of puts that into perspective that you have to have that even keel mindset, even as a fan, because things can change so rapidly, and you're going to drive yourself insane if you just lose your mind at every loss.
Oh yeah. Is there any sport where there's more overreaction than college basketball? I mean, maybe the NFL, I can see it where a team starts like 0-2 and everyone's writing them off.
Yeah.
Being a Bengals fan, that's like in the last 3 years. But I mean, part of it's like the bracketology that's updated like seemingly every day and everything like that.
Right.
Where,
Yeah.
like,
well, and it comes from like 100 different sources.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know. I think you're right though. There's a lot of overreaction in college basketball, and it's weird that it's like that because there's a lot of games. The games are very close together. You know, you're usually waiting 3 or 4 days between games. It's not like you got to wait a whole week for every game to come. So you would think that would make people less overreactive, but it makes them more overreactive because a guy has a bad game. You're like, all right, we thought he was an NBA player, and now we're not making the tournament.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But going back to the seeding thing, for instance, Creighton, they went 21-12 last year and finished as the 6th seed. So even if Xavier won out and didn't win the Big East, I still think they make the tournament. With the bad losses to Oakland and Delaware, and you can throw in losing by 43 to UConn in that, I guess, if you want to.
Right.
I'd still say they're like a 7 seed probably.
Well, if that happens, you know, they have to beat Creighton, they have to beat Marquette.
Yeah.
If just completely taking anything out of the Big East, like you said, if they win out, I mean, you're talking about beating, like I said, Creighton, Marquette, St. John's, Seton Hall again,
Providence again.
Like the games they would have to win are insane, but they're all going to be really high quality wins if they're able to do it. And you know, I think the last that I saw was they're projecting them to win 7 and lose 4 of their last 11 regular season games. So when you look at it from that perspective, to win 11 is not like insane, you know, like they can play with these teams. They showed that they can play with UConn, and now UConn had a player that wasn't playing when we played him the first time, right?
Right, Klingon, yeah.
So I mean, I understand all of that stuff, but at the end of the day, these are 18 to 27-year-old kids.
Right. I love that 27's in there now, because now I'm like, yeah, I'm college age.
Right. No, but for real, like 18 to 22 on average, that's like maybe 23. But they're just kids that are doing their best to be really good basketball players. And you know, a lot of them treat it like a professional game these days. It's become a lot more of a professional game, college basketball has. But at the end of the day, they're just kids. They can go out and they can go on hot streaks for a month and a half or 2 months, 3 months. They can finish the season in a way that they didn't start the season. So it's just I'm excited to keep watching, because I think that the team has shown a lot of promise over the last month and a half. Even though there have been some bad losses in there, been some really positive points as well.
Oh yeah, and I think just from a fan's perspective, there's so much to watch. Just the development of all the players and everything like that. Looking forward to kind of what you're going to be working with for probably the next couple of years. You'll have, obviously, Quincy not coming back sucks, but Davion will be back, Dez will be back, a lot of the Euro guys will be back too. So just having that core group of players you can watch grow. Trey Green, another guy, of course.
Yep.
So I
That's
don't
going to
know.
be, that is going to be obviously the main storyline, right? Over the next 3 years, let's say until uh next 2 years when Dez is a senior.
Right.
Um, that's going to be the main story. I mean, who knows? Maybe Dez comes out next year and just goes nuts, pulls a Colby Jones on us and goes to the NBA. I don't know. But just like watching this team progress in not just them as individuals, but as a team, like who sticks with the team? Who's going to be here in 2 years? Nobody knows the answer to that question. Obviously, Nemo and McKnight won't be. But then you have Dez, you have Trey, who's got 2 more years of experience, Swain, that's got 2 more years of experience. I mean, it just seems like, I mean, let's not even talk about Lazar, because I've already said what I think about Lazar is that when you have these guys that are playing in Europe, for the most part, you don't see them until they're ready to be seen. He came out of Europe a lot younger than most guys do. I know that you have your phenom guys. Giannis comes over at 17, is playing the NBA, whatever. Like, I understand that. Those are one percenters. That's not something that you normally look at. But most of these guys, these European guys, they will go and they'll play in feeder systems in whatever country they're from, and then they'll go play for like a feeder system for a EuroLeague team, and then they'll either play 1 year in EuroLeague and go to the NBA, or an NBA team will see the potential and just groom them up. So it's like he came over, and in a way, it's like pretty courageous thing to do, because he's putting himself out there, coming and playing in one of the best, if not the best, conferences in college basketball. So to see him do that and kind of have to progress here, I think that it will be good for him in the long run, as long as he sticks with it.
Oh yeah. I think it's important just not to give up on any individual player this early, especially with just this team. It's not just that the players new, it's the whole team's new. So, I mean, we're what, 3 months into the season, 4 months into the season? Like, we're 4 months into this team being together completely. It took until, I don't know, probably September, October for the roster to be completed. So it's still like there's still growing pains. Like, it's just going to take some time, unfortunately. But
Well, and not to mention the fact that you talk about all these players, and then there's the potential that next year you have Fremantle and Hunter coming back. Shout out
oh
Jerome Hunter
yeah,
fan club. But like that would be, watching Jerome Hunter practice, man. Like, I know that got me pumped up, and we were talking about it during the practice, like the way that he was practicing. Obviously, he doesn't have his lungs yet because he was out for so long. He's got to get that back. But man, just watching him out there, he was playing on the perimeter a little bit more. He looked good, man.
oh yeah, yeah. Next year is going to be exciting, man. Once those two are back and
Yeah.
the rest of the roster is assembled around those guys.
The thing about Jerome is that he can guard like probably 2 through 5.
Yeah,
Like, he is a versatile defender, and with the toughness and everything he brings down low on offense, Fremantle coming back would be huge. I don't know Fremantle well. I haven't gotten to see him play a ton because obviously last year was my first year really back watching, and he got hurt, and then he wasn't practicing and all that stuff. He's kind of doing his own recovery type stuff, but it's just exciting to see him coming back. And if they do come back next year, this is going to be a scary team, man. And imagine if Quincy was coming back with all of them too.
oh man,
I'm just really hoping that Trey kind of steps into that just sniper role, able to shoot the ball from anywhere and really get his shots up. I think the biggest thing with Trey right now is going to be, can he defend? He's small. He's a smaller guy, which is not necessarily, it's not a death sentence by any means. He just he's got to be the toughest guy on the court.
yeah. I think he can be. I mean, we've seen it in
Yeah. Oh,
small quantities.
no, I agree. I definitely think that we've seen it. I'm not discounting his defense. I'm just saying that's going to be his hurdle because he can clearly score.
Yeah, I agree. But just imagine them introducing Zach Fremantle and Jerome Hunter in the starting lineup next year, how crazy Centos is going to go.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. It's like, okay, so they come back, then you have Lazar, you got Nemo, and you got Kachi,
Abu. Yeah.
Abu. I mean, like, it's a lot of big men, dude. Like, that's why I'm saying I feel like you're probably. I don't know who it would be. I wouldn't even be willing to speculate, but I would have to think that somebody there in their mind is thinking, I might need to find a new home.
Oh, yeah, and that's just the nature of college basketball. It could be even if Hunter and Fremantle weren't coming back. I mean, the transfer portal is just it's its own beast right now. You can't
Yeah,
control
but the thing is, the transfer portal, in my opinion, shouldn't be looked at as like we're going to build our team this way. It should be like we're going to plug this guy in to an already built foundation, and he's going to make us better, which is exactly what happened with Sule. Like that
yeah.
would like that's like the perfect example of that. And he came in and was just obviously like, I think everybody knew he was going to be good, but I don't know how many people outside of Xavier fans would have looked at it and said he's going to have that type of year. They're going to go to the
Right.
Sweet 16. And I mean, obviously Nunji was a big part of that. Like there was a Colby. I mean, it's just their team was completely different last year. They had a lot of talent. But it's going to be interesting to see because, we're talking about Trey, and I think I have a lot of faith in Trey, but he's a point guard. And, we like that 2-man because McKnight's playing the point guard too. Dez is kind of playing a little bit of point guard. So it's like one of them has to either move to the 2 or they're going to go out and get a 2 or they're going to get a 3. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but just all these young guys finding ways to just go to the transfer portal and find people to complement what they already have as these guys grow. I'm telling you, you're looking at a team that's going to be a top 10 in the country team within the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh, I agree completely, and I'm ready for it, man. The
Yeah.
streams are gonna be a lot more fun whenever
Yeah.
they've got a number next to their name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, when
Kenny,
Xavier's ranked, we're ranked,
yeah, that's true. Maybe we
Num-
can start doing that.
yeah,
You
we
know,
will. I mean, on the stream, like if we're number 1 in the country, we'll be number 1 Roll Blob Pod. It's like easy.
yeah, I'm cool with it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully we can get a seed of some sort for the Roll Blob Pod come March. So
Right.
we'll work on that for sure.
Yep.
You know what's going to be really cool though, Kenny, is once this team wins their next 11 games, wins the Big East tournament,
Right.
makes the NCAA tournament,
Mhm.
goes to the Final Four, wins a national championship.
Right.
What'd be really cool to have is a basketball signed by every single player
Yeah.
on that team
Yeah. I
and
mean,
the head coach of that
I
team.
don't even. What would that even look like?
It's in my closet right now.
Oh,
Very
okay.
safe. It's in
Okay.
a safe. No one knows the combination, not even me.
Okay.
So it's very safe.
Yeah. Are you just gonna
Um,
mail? Are you just gonna mail the safe
yeah,
for
at
the
this
winner, or are you gonna break
well,
it open?
well, there's like just a key that unlocks it,
Oh,
but
okay. So
if,
there is
if
no combination. Got it.
well, there is, but it's just for looks, yeah.
Got it.
Um, but that basketball, you still have a day to enter it. If you're interested in that basketball, if it's something that you think you might want, go to the Roll Blob Pod Twitter, follow us, retweet us, and then you're entered to win. It's just like that. February 1st, we'll be doing the giveaway. And yeah, good luck. Maybe I win it, maybe Kenny
Yeah.
wins. Who
Right.
knows?
What's
But
the what are the entries up to now? Last I saw it was like 330 something.
that's a great question. Let's check that out. We are at 325.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Your chances aren't bad. One of 325 for a signed
50-50.
basketball? Like, come on.
It's 50-50. You win or lose.
Essentially, yeah. You either win or you lose. And you don't really lose because now you're following Roll Blob Pod and we
Yeah.
put out cool stuff like this.
I mean, I'm hoping to make this a yearly tradition with the basketball. Get a basketball signed, send it out to one of our amazing fans. Maybe put one up right here on my wall or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll work it out. There'll be more giveaways in the future,
I mean,
but
if I win this giveaway, it's going to be in all the streams. So, because
oh, yeah.
I did enter 12, 13 times.
Oh, with your burner accounts?
No. I just kept quote tweeting it so that my name's in there a lot.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'll
No, but
alert
yeah,
the
no,
giveaway
but
guy.
so just so people are clear, we are going to go through. We're going to take everybody will be entered one time, and me, Cap, and Coop are not going to be entered to win it. But
Right.
it's going to be. I'm excited for the giveaway. We're going to go live and do something on Twitter. I think probably. I would guess nighttime of February 1st. We'll get that out there and then probably have it mailed out once Coop's willing to separate with it 10, 15 years.
Right. Yeah. Well, depends how the rest of the season goes.
Right, right. If they win, you won't mess. You're not going to send it out until they lose
Exactly.
again.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so I think are we going mailbag now?
I think we're going mailbag.
All
Yeah.
right.
So, um, our first mailbag question was posted in our Discord,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes from our good friend AK Muskie. Um, he asked, let me find it here. Has your sports loyalty ever been tested with any of your favorite sports team? He mentioned whenever Xavier was playing Michigan back in 2015. He's a fan. Unfortunately, he's a Michigan fan,
Mm.
but he did root for Xavier. He also mentioned being a Lions fan when they played Matthew Stafford just last week in the NFL playoffs. Kenny, has there ever been a time for you where maybe you have two teams you really like and you have to pick a favorite?
Never, never
Never.
even the Vikings, the Muskies, Notre Dame football, and that's it.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
there's no like, where's the crossover? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if Xavier ever has like a top 25 football program, it'll be that's when my loyalty will be tested. Xavier Notre Dame because they're going to play each other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a good chance they're both independent teams.
Right. I mean, and we may get a chance to see that via NCAA 2014 here in the summertime.
Oh, eyeballs emoji. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't really have anything quite like that, AK Muskie, but I would say the closest thing is I'm a big Reds fan. And whenever I was probably in like junior high, a family friend of mine was a pitcher for the New York Mets, and he was pitching against the Reds, and I didn't really know what to do. I rooted for the Mets when he was on the team, um, but the Reds were always first. So it's kind of tough because it's like, well, I don't want him to just get absolutely torched by the Reds, but I also don't want the Reds to just lose. So it was tough. I ended up just choosing for his success and hoping like the bullpen blew it or something like that. I don't remember the result of the game, but really that's the only time. It's been like more of an individual um, alliance, I guess. But that's all I got.
Yeah. I wanted to, I know it wasn't a question from our mailbag, but it was something that I saw on Discord. Um, Father B is retiring. And I don't know
Yep.
if you ever met Father B, Coop.
I have not.
He is, the guy is just like the happiest, most positive, best dude ever. He's been around Xavier for, I mean, forever. Like, I mean, a really, really long time. And he just retired. And I saw something on Twitter. Somebody had said that they should do Xavier jerseys. And instead of having just like as an homage to him, do a Xavier jersey. And on the back, instead of having their names, just have it say Saint. Because that's what he called everybody. He called everybody Saint because he didn't remember anybody's name. Because I mean, it's 3,000 kids that he's walking through campus talking to. So he would just call everybody Saint. And I think that would be an incredible idea, especially for somebody that gave so much to Xavier. And I don't think they'll ever actually do it, but I just thought it was a really cool idea that I saw on Twitter.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Even if they
But
just did something like, on the chest or something that just said Saint or just something to just, show appreciation for somebody that gave, literally everything.
yeah, a little patch sewn on or
Something,
something like that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of awesome, we have some mailbag questions from our awesome friend Ian Featherstone.
Ooh.
So he never misses with these mailbag questions. I mean, we put him on the spot. We did a live pod at Centos for the Georgetown game. He walked into the barrack, ski goggles on and everything, and said, "Hey, how about some live mailbag?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Just
Look
freestyle.
Keith Jackson right in the face and said 5, 15, 20.
Yeah.
beers, hot dogs, flights of stairs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that dude, he doesn't miss, does
Yep.
not miss. Um, Speaking of hot dogs, Kenny, that leads us to this question. Rank the following. There's 5.
Okay.
So hot dog, beer brat, cheddar brat, Italian sausage, and German bratwurst with sauerkraut.
Man. Um, so I think I'm gonna go just because of my experience in Germany. Just going around to their markets and stuff. I think I'm going German bratwurst with sauerkraut because I also do love sauerkraut.
That's your
And then
number
I'm
1.
Yeah, and then I'm going. I know that he's probably not thinking about it like this, but I'm going with Italian sausage on like pizza. I think that's really good. I know it's different, but I like it a lot. Um, I mean, hot dog. I love hot dogs, but unfortunately, it's number 5. I mean,
I agree.
and then I'm going cheddar brat, beer brat, 2, 3.
Okay, gotcha. I would say, I'm not a huge sauerkraut guy, so I'm just gonna put that on the side, like, I'll have a strand or 2 on New Year's, and that's about it.
Right.
Um, but I'm going hot dog 5 still. It just can. I like hot dogs, but comparative to the other options, it just
Right.
kinda,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
tough.
it's not doing it for me,
What if
so,
he would have said Skyline chili hot dog?
that's number 1, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
But
mean, I gotta
but he
stay
but he
loyal.
didn't. But he didn't.
He
So
didn't, he just said hot dog.
yeah.
So, um, they make those hot dog vacuums now too.
Talking about Joey Chestnut.
I'm talking about Tim Robinson with his invention on "I Think You Should Leave." Yeah, you can't skip lunch. But hot dogs number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with the German bratwurst. Number 3, I think I'm gonna go beer brat. Number 2, cheddar. Number 1, Italian sausage.
Yeah, we have an ITAM festival around here, and they serve them on those like big Italian hoagie rolls, kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
real good. Keep
Yeah,
oh yeah, man, I'm thinking about it now. I'm doing
yeah.
I'm doing a 24 fasting thing. I can only eat 4 hours a day, so I'm like hungry right
Oh,
now.
yeah, that's tough. When he texted me these mailbag questions at 4:11 PM,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately was starving
Nice.
because I just started thinking about having some beer brats and stuff.
Yeah. It's a
So,
good, I'm surprised you didn't have one on stream. Honestly,
I should have. If I Hey, you owe me some Chinese sausage, by the way.
I do. I do. Well, I did send you the NFT.
Oh, that's right.
Right, the
Yeah, I
Chinese
keep forgetting
sausage
about
NFT,
that.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it is. So, first NIT, Jesus, NFT I've ever had, so I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, well, here's a good question too. You get hot dogs at baseball games, so it's a perfect segue. What position would you play in both baseball and football? Kenny, I know the football answer.
Yeah. Baseball, I was always exclusively first base. Got a long,
Oh, okay. Yep.
actually, sorry, left hand.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I played baseball, but I did enjoy playing baseball. I like watching baseball at the stadium. If you put it on TV, I'll fall asleep.
Okay, fair enough. Now, okay. Did you have any nicknames when you were playing baseball by chance?
No.
Okay, because me and Cap were just talking about this on Saturday. Um, It always seems like the kid playing first base and, like, I'm talking little league baseball. It's usually the He's usually on the bigger side, but maybe kinda short sometimes, and it's never a normal name. It's like, "Oh, yeah, we just call him Dirt," or, like, something like that, and he's very
uh,
unathletic, he barely can catch,
yeah,
but they put him there because he doesn't have to run much, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, he's,
That
like,
sounds right.
blowing snot bubbles or something, just standing there.
I will say I was when I played baseball, I was about a foot taller than everybody else. So, kids had a lot bigger funnel to throw the ball to me. So that's why they put me there.
Ah, makes
I
sense.
will say I was slow though. I mean, there was no home run fences and I was so much bigger and stronger than the other kids, just like, just genetics, like nothing I actually did. I was like 9, 10 years old.
Right.
But we would be playing, and they would pitch the ball to me, and you're using those metal bats, and so you're just cranking these things. Just like I broke a windshield in a parking lot one time, didn't score a run. Like
Oh
the guy,
my
I got to like
God.
third base. No, I got to like third base. The guy just ran it down, threw it in. I was so slow. There's nothing I could do about it.
Oh man, you crushed the windshield of like a Buick Enclave or something, and someone has to go out there, reach their hand through it, pick it up from the
I think
passenger
they
door.
actually went and got the keys from their parents, unlocked the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then by the time they got the ball, probably threw it 4 or 5 times. I was like
Oh,
just rounding third. Coach
yeah.
is like,
Hold. Yeah. Bang, bang, play. Yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah,
And then football's tight end. Yeah.
yeah. Obviously,
Yeah. Well, if you stuck
I
with
mean,
that,
look at
yeah.
these mitts, man. Like my palms are the size of most people's hands, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Not to brag, but I mean, you stick with tight end. I don't know, man. You could be dating like Dua Lipa or Taylor Swift. Well, probably not Taylor Swift. She's taken, but we'll go Miley Cyrus. That's your girl.
there you go.
Part of the
Yeah.
USA. That's
Yep.
her, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be doing that.
I
Um,
came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a banger.
Yeah, it is a banger. Yeah, I would. And then football, for me, this is gonna be like the whitest thing I've ever said, but whenever I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, I always thought place kicker would be like kind of cool. You know what I'm saying?
Place kick.
It's
I
not
thought
cool. But,
I thought you were gonna say placeholder. Like
oh, like the extra point holder. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know if that was like the only thing you had to do, and you're not like the backup quarterback or the punter or something. Like I could probably handle that. But I don't know. I feel like maybe,
I mean, the most accessible position on any football team, I feel like, is long snapper.
oh, yeah.
Because they I mean they have to don't get me wrong, they have to be really good at what they do, but they have one function and they're not even really allowed to get hit anymore. I mean, they're snapping the ball and they're popping up and you have to tackle and all that stuff, but like when are they really getting tackles? They're
Yeah.
by the time they even look up, the ball's 50 feet away from them.
Yeah. That's why, like, the starting center will be like, "Oh, yeah, he's on his last leg. He's probably gonna retire soon. He's 26." And then the long snapper's like, "Here comes so and so." It's always like a really long last name. It's like 8 syllables, and they're like,
Yeah.
"He's 57."
Yeah, well, we were just talking to AB about that. He's got a buddy that
That's
was a
right.
long snapper for like 17 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like he's Tom Brady. He's the Tom Brady of long snappers.
Yeah, I mean, if you perfect it, I mean, that might be the best job in America, but behind maybe backup quarterback, long snapper might be it.
Did you watch the NFL this year?
I did, yeah. Yeah.
Backup quarterback was a challenging position this year.
Yeah.
Even
No,
third string quarterback was a tough position.
yeah, you know that better than anybody,
Yeah,
but
fourth string even if you want to talk
yeah. Yeah.
about it.
Well, Ian, to answer the rest of the question in baseball, my favorite position to play was second base, but I always got stuck in center field. I was blessed with speed. I didn't like playing center field, but that's where they made me do it. Um, so I was good at it, but I didn't enjoy it. Well, let's see. Next question. Person you would most like to A, get dinner with, B, drink or smoke with, C, have as a roommate for a year. So it's 3 different people.
Wow.
Um, and the drink or smoke thing, like, just use your imagination. We'll just call it drink with.
Right. Ooh, I
So the
think
first one is getting dinner with them. Who you picking?
getting dinner. I'm gonna say, and that's honestly the hardest one because like
I agree.
um I'm gonna skip that one for now. I'm gonna say drink with. I'm going with Shane Gillis. That's an easy one for me.
Oh, perfect answer.
Be a roommate with for a year. I'm saying probably like, man, there's a couple different people that come to my mind, but I feel like Chris Pratt would be cool as shit.
Okay.
I could hang
Got
out. I feel like I could hang out with Chris Pratt pretty easily. Um, get dinner with. Actually, I'm gonna go to my my video game, YouTube watching type thing. I think I'm gonna go with Tim the Tap Man. I don't know if you've probably never heard of him. Most of our viewers probably haven't heard of him. He's a huge video game streamer. Um, and he seems like a cool dude to, grab a beer with, dinner with, something like that. I feel like it would be cool to meet him.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think getting dinner with. I think I'm picking Theo Vaughn for this one. Just
Okay.
like have a nice hour-long dinner or something, and just see what he says. It'd be
Yeah,
just
right.
pure entertainment.
Yeah,
So
it's a good one.
going Theo Vaughn for that. Uh, to drink with, I'm taking Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is like the most unintentionally funny person of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows he's funny or not. Like he plays quarterback, but man, he's so funny.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I think just being just I don't know, in a different universe with Jameis Winston would be one of the best nights of my life, if not the best night of my life.
Probably. I can see
And I
that.
don't wanna take him to dinner or anything like that because, like, I don't know, he doesn't always pay for his food,
Is
so
that
I don't
is
wanna
that
get
true?
stuck with that tab. Yeah, he stole crab legs in college, so, there was this,
I did
interview.
see that. Did you ever seen like the warehouse games on YouTube with like John Boy Media?
I'm not
They're
probably.
big baseball guys, Nicky Cass, all those dudes.
Okay.
They just did like a football Jeopardy thing, and one of the questions was like, who's the quarterback drafted in whatever year and is a huge fan of lobster and crab legs, and the
Ah.
answer was Jameis Winston.
There was the funniest thing I saw from Jameis Winston was recent. I saw it recently. For some reason, Jim Harbaugh was talking to him, and he said, "Had you ever been disciplined in high school and college?" And he mentioned the crab legs thing, whatever. But he's like, "Yeah, in high school, um, I got in trouble because uh, my coach was crying, and I laughed at him." And he's like, "I thought it was funny that my coach was crying." And I don't know.
What a crazy thing to bring up, even if it's like I know it. I mean, obviously it's true, but like, what a
Yeah,
weird thing to bring up, just like pouring salt in your coach's wound. I mean, people know who that is.
yeah, I don't know. It was really funny. So yeah, I'm trying to hang out with Jameis Winston. Um, and then to have as a roommate for a year, I'm choosing Dua Lipa. I just would like to live with her for a year.
Okay.
I've been seeing her on some TikToks and stuff like that. I just think she has all the qualities I look for in a roommate.
Okay.
And I think if she saw me like doing the dishes here and there, mowing the grass,
Cutting down
changing,
some trees.
cutting down some trees, just real masculine stuff like that,
Hmm.
washing the car outside,
Right.
she might be, maybe fall in love with me. So I'd like to take my chances.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I can respect it. I'm surprised you
Yeah.
didn't say Ariana Grande. She's the one that made you TikTok famous.
That was what's the other one's name? The other
Oh
one like
no,
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You made Roll Blob TikTok famous.
Right. Right.
Right. Roll Blob, big Selena Gomez fans.
Yep. Ever
Um,
if we ever put anything on TikTok?
yeah, there's some stuff on there.
Nice.
There's still some.
I don't have TikTok. I got to come clean. So, if it's on there, I'm going to have to see it on Instagram.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm a company man, Kenny, so someone's got to have the TikTok.
Right. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Last question. Zombie apocalypse occurs. What's your plan and where are you going?
So, a he probably doesn't know that it's the plan, but pitcher for I don't know who he signed with Detroit. I want to say, Andrew Chafin.
Can't say that.
He's a pitcher. He's been all over the league. He pitched with the A's. He was in Chicago with the Cubs, and then he was in Detroit. I can't remember, Diamondbacks. He played with for a little bit. He's been in the league for a while now. But he's got a sick farm, dude, and like that's where I'm going. He's like 25, 30 minutes from my house.
Okay.
I hear the news. I'm packing up the car. I got the minivan that's got the electric motor. So I'm gonna bring that'll be like I'll bring that and the Acadia. we'll bring something to the table. I'll be a big worker. I'll do a lot in the fields and protection stuff like that. That's what I can offer to bring five mouths to feed with me. But yeah, that's where I'm going. I don't think he knows that's the plan, but I'm just showing up.
Okay. I mean,
his wife is best friends with my sister.
that helps.
So, I mean, I feel like it would be at least difficult for him to turn me away.
During a time like that, who are you turning away? That'd be like
he's a pretty pragmatic guy. I feel like if a stranger came up to him, he would be like, you got 48 hours to figure out what you're doing.
Well, I mean, you have a lot to offer.
I mean, I'm a big, like, I feel like I could be a brute, like
Right.
I've had conversations with my wife about it. If I was alive in when was the mafia a thing? Like the 20s?
Yeah, I want to say probably 20s, 30s around
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I feel like I would have been like real big mafia guy, made man, probably wouldn't live past 30 or I'd be in jail for most of my life.
Right.
I think that would have just been what I kind of got groomed to be. You're 7 foot. They call me tiny, something like that.
Yeah.
Shorty. And, just walking around with a Tommy gun, trench coat, all that.
Oh, yeah. Look like the St. John's basketball coach. Something like that. Yeah, where am I going, man? I might have to go somewhere after saying
You're in a
that.
big city, dude. You're rough. But you're outside of it though. So you would have a little bit of warning.
Yeah, I'm out here. It's still too close for comfort. I'd say, man, I might just stay home and, just pray.
Yeah, ride it out. Maybe at some point, you get I'm assuming somebody like your charisma, you probably get a following. You go in to Norwood, right? Take over the Cintas Center. I think that would be a nice place for you. You could radio me. We'll have a little ally partnership, northern and southern Ohio. Just kind of figure out how we can synergize together, and we'll maybe become the conglomerate of Ohio. Start branching out, take over the United States, all that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down for that. The only other thing I was thinking about, I saw this movie once, actually with Ian. Don't remember the name of it at all, but has something to do with AI, not Allen Iverson, but the artificial intelligence stuff.
Okay.
And there's like half robot, half human people, and the human falls in love with like an AI bot, but they don't know each other are different at the time or something like that. The only thing I'm thinking of that might work is with my charisma, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I talk to like a zombie girl, and
Oh,
she falls in love with me, and then she kind of like protects me, but she's like, "Oh no, I killed him a while back," but she just comes home to me every night,
right.
brings me food, gets daddy to Starbucks, stuff like that.
Right. Well, do you think it's more of a threat that it's zombies, or Elon Musk just brought out Neuralink, right?
Right.
Zombies or cyborgs? What comes first?
I don't know which one comes first, but
Okay.
I know
Okay.
I know I'm the most afraid of a cyborg.
Right. Zombies are mindless. Just put a fence between you,
Yeah,
Unless they're the ones from World War Z. Those ones are different.
I just feel like a zombie comes up, they're like drooling, and I just point one way and they look, and then I'm walk past them.
Out. Just like a tennis ball, throw it. They're just wondering, then you're gone.
Like, how did he do that? Or I do, for all the YouTube watchers, I do this little thing, and then they're like, "Oh wow, I don't know how he did that." They're confused. Cyborg, I feel like they already know my thoughts before I think them.
Right, and they probably have guns.
They probably do. But yeah, I think we've done a podcast. We've talked about it all, from basketball to cyborgs. Any closing thoughts, Kenneth?
I got nothing, man. The only thing I got for you is stay blobbing.
That's it.